GM Lordstown workers have put together some 15 million vehicles in 50 years. The car has changed, the assembly line has changed, but the auto workers have been the one constant. In fact, there are about 7 who've been on the job the entire 50 years. I explored the issues the UAW has faced through a half-century in Lordstown. When Lordstown opened in 1966, the steel mills were closing, and GM was looking for something to set its hires apart.
They wound up hiring this new workforce, but at the time it was the most educated workforce that General Motors had ever hired.
John Russo followed and studied the GM Lordstown plant for over 30 years. He has a lot of insight, just like the workers, and they remember the heydays with employees everywhere.
You know, back in 1970, there were people on every press. People stocking parts.
I didn't know anything about a union when I first joined it, but you find to learn that they're there to protect you.
But many outsiders saw the unions differently. Some hold those opinions even today. What actually happened benefited the Mahoning Valley. Economists call it wage pull.
That unionized setting made it possible for other companies to and workers to get similar wages or close to it for many years.
But it did not come easy for the GM workers. There was an acrimonious relationship behind the scenes with management.
Your plant manager, your superintendents, your general foremans. The foremans were pushers.
The workers were not happy with how they were being treated on the assembly line. GM wanted 100 cars put together every hour, while UAW workers felt comfortable assembling 55. Speed up or maintain speed. The fight would lead to dissension and then a walkout. The workers went on strike for 22 days, and GM reportedly lost $150 million. Then more turmoil in the 90s for the workers.
When the van plant, they announced it was closing, and all of us with low seniority, we all thought we were going to go and transfer or just go to the street. And LLE came up with the idea of 3 crews, 2 shifts.
3 crew, 2 shift, we were able to add 750 people when we did that.
Every worker was absorbed from the van plant to the car plant, but more change was on the horizon. GM had a new way to run the plant, and UAW workers would have to consider it.
I left in 2000. By 2001, everything we had negotiated had changed. They went to the team concept.
That meant groups of workers rotating jobs, but the employees worked through it, and eventually it enabled the plant to get GM's investment for building a new generation small car. First, it would be the Chevy Cobalt, but then the switch was made to the Cruze in 2010. Lordstown workers have assembled over 1.5 million of the first generation, and now the second generation is coming off the line and heading to dealers.
You know, back in 1995, there was almost 3,000 members of Local 1714 active in the plant. Now today, we're just underneath 1,400 members, and that's with bringing a body shop over in 2010. So we're definitely doing a lot more with a lot less people.
They want the great quality car coming off the line, and that's what it's going to take, both sides working.
GM went from declaring bankruptcy in 2005 to pulling in a $9 billion profit last year. But workers helped the company pull some of that in by agreeing to a 2-tier wage scale years ago.